Nosferatu is a German silent horror film about a vampire. As the movie explains, a vampire is a kind of demon incarnate which parasitically feeds on humans by disguising itself as one. The movie is notable for its haunting atmosphere and striking nature imagery. As a loose and unauthorized adaptation of Bram Stoker's novel Dracula, which popularized the vampire myth, it was nearly destroyed due to copyright law. Although praised as a masterpiece of horror, Nosferatu is also accused of communicating racist stereotypes against Jewish people. According to scholars Kevin Jackson of the British Film Institute and Tony Magistrale of the University of Vermont, this is probably not a conscious choice by the artists. Friedrich Wilhelm Murnau, the director, was a World War I veteran who immigrated to the United States later in the decade. As a gay man himself who was friends with Jewish people, some of whom were actors in the movie, Murnau understood the struggle of outsiders. Still, it is possible to participate in stereotypes without knowing it, and Nosferatu clearly reflects the fears of its time. Watching it today with this awareness can be a complicated experience, but a rewarding one if we can learn from it. To confront the racism, let's first ask, what do vampires represent? The defining characteristic of vampires is the way they parasitically feed on human blood. But it is also important to note that vampires are usually rich, probably because their invincibility to aging and natural death gives them more time to accumulate wealth. Similarly, in real life, the rich can, in one way or another, feed on the blood of the poor. Nosferatu films its vampire as demonic, a cosmic force of evil in human form. This is part of what makes it so creepy. Specifically, the vampire Count Orlok is said to be the spawn of the demon Belial. I have yet to meet Belial personally, but I am told his domain is positions of status and the deceptive temptation of the righteous, which is appropriate given Orlok's aristocratic and deceiving nature. The point here is that, as much as wealth gives a person more power to live virtuously, it also gives a person power to give in to every vice, and when a rich person abuses their power, they become a vessel for the demonic, just like a vampire, even if they don't literally gain paranormal abilities or drink blood. Simply put, vampires represent vampiric people. While Bram Stoker's knowledge of the historical figure is debated, the name Dracula can be traced back to the real 15th century Transylvanian prince Vlad the Impaler, who was infamous for his cruel acts, such as impaling his enemies. In the movie, the vampire also comes from the end of the medieval era, specifically the time of the Black Death. Set in the early 19th century, the movie takes place in an early modern world haunted by the medieval. This detail reflects how, even though we live in the modern world, we remain haunted by vampiric forces which have plagued us since the dawn of history, and in fact, the technological advances of the Renaissance have enabled these forces to operate in more effective and insidious ways. The Holocaust itself is evidence of this, and this finally brings us back to the theme of racism. Count Orlok's appearance resembles the sickly, rodent-like caricature of Jews which existed in the German imagination at the time. One might say that this problem came from the original novel, but we would still have to ask why this story resonated with German audiences at this specific time. It is an evil Jewish occultist who brings the vampire to the city, and yes, there is a good Jewish occultist who helps defeat the vampire, but Orlok is still doubly associated with Jewish magic. It's important to remember here that Germany was the birthplace of the printing press, which helped not only the Protestant Reformation through the printing of Bibles, but also a fascination with the occult through the printing of magical books which were rare before. This occult fascination in Germany's culture can be seen in the literary work Faust, the operas of Wagner, the films Caligari and Nosferatu, and in Adolf Hitler's Nazi regime. But one of the problems with using occult ideas like demons to understand spiritual diseases in society is how easily this belief can distort into the demonization of an entire people group, which then itself becomes a disease to be eradicated. We can see this fear in Nosferatu, as Orlok is a diseased outsider who brings disease with him. But the real vampire in Germany was not the Jews. The real vampire in Nosferatu is people like Adolf Hitler or Vlad the Impaler, who use their power to commit mass murder. These people will use their power to pin the blame on someone else for the evil they cause. To do this, they will use people's subconscious fears and desires, which media like cinema amplifies. So watch carefully.